Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. We hope that you had a great trading week last week. We hope that you found our weekly game plan from last week helpful to you in your trading. Please let us know if you found our weekly game plan from last week helpful to you in the comments below. And please let us know how your trading went this week. Good or bad, what did you learn? How can we improve our weekly game plans to help you succeed in your trading? Now let's get started preparing our game plan for next week. Hello again, fellow Beach Bum traders. We hope that you were able to take advantage of some of our strategies from last week's game plan to protect your portfolio from the September effect. And in this week's game plan for the week of September 13th through September 17th, we hope to show you some more strategies, how you can actually profit from the September effect. If you're not yet familiar with what the September effect is, we would encourage you to please go watch last week's game plan where we provide an explanation of what the September effect is and some of the strategies that will allow you to protect your portfolio from the September effect and again profit from it. Again, this week we hope to show you some additional strategies how you can actually profit from the September effect. So let's just start briefly with a recap of the market from last Friday. I'm on the homepage of finviz.com. Again, as always, you can find our affiliate link to Finviz in the description box below. This is the free version of Finviz. You don't have to pay for Finviz, but if you'd like some of the premium content, premium features, you can choose to do so. So if we briefly look at a recap of Friday, as you can see, all the indices ended down and more severely down towards the very end of the day. If we look at the heat map, we can see pretty much everything was red. Again, not unexpected if you listen to our game plan from last week. I attribute it to the September effect. We'll see in a second some news, some additional factors that are contributing it. Again, if you go to the bottom of the home page of Finviz, you can see some of the current top headlines. And here we see a lot of words like wobbling, correction, uncertainty, jitters, fear. So there's a lot of fear in the market. Again, there are some factors contributing to it, but I think we're seeing the September effect, right? And we can see the futures are red, and in a second we'll look in more detail at the futures. Now if we jump over to the futures tab in finviz.com, just take a quick look, we can very clearly see that all the indices are rolling over from a futures perspective, with the Dow taking a more dramatic turn down, then the S&P, then the NASDAQ. We can also see the Russell took a very severe turn down. We can also see here the VIX popped. On Friday, the VIX popped up to about 20-something. We'll talk about how we can profit from that. It's a good strategy for taking advantage of this increased volatility due to the September effect for September. We can see oil's kind of hovering, so we'll talk about the fact that we're not really looking at any particular directional play in oil at this point in time. Gold and silver, gold kind of looks like it's hovering, rounding bottom, hopefully turning up. Something else I wanted to point out here, although platinum and palladium look low in this futures chart, if you expand this chart, which you can open in a separate link, just right click, open it up. I'm not going to spend the time to look at that right now. We looked at it last week, but if you zoom out on these charts, you'll see even though they look low here, they are still relatively high from a historical standpoint, and they really don't have 2 or greater reward to risk ratio on a weekly or monthly chart, so we're not pursuing those at this time. I looked at them because it looked like a juicy opportunity, and when I zoomed out, I said, it's not really worth it at this point in time. We'll also see in a second that the treasuries are volatile. And the volatility in the treasuries is driving some of the volatility in particularly the NASDAQ index as well. So we're going to also be looking to profit from plays in the volatility in the treasuries due to talk back and forth about tapering, etc. So we'll talk about that and how we can devise a strategy to potentially profit from that volatility in the treasuries as well. Now let's just quickly look at the indices for each of the markets and see where they're sitting relative to their trends. I'm looking at the SPY, which is the index for the S&P 500. We can see it had touched its upper trend line, turned down, and we can see in there the moving average. It is broken below the moving average. It looks like it's headed down to the trend line, but it's kind of in the middle of this uptrending channel. So it has some potential downside. I wouldn't be surprised if it came down, touched that trend line, and then bounced back up. We are currently holding and have been holding a short position on the SPY by using the leveraged ETF SPXU, and we're going to continue to hold that and look for continued downside. If it hits that lower trend line and bounces back up, then we would exit that short position for a profit and even consider going a long position in SPY. If we look at the NASDAQ index, which is QQQ, you can see a similar trend, although as we talked about last week, the NASDAQ, the Qs had broken above the upper trend line and now had reversed and broken down below and is back in its channel. So again, some more potential downside. We can see it's hovering above its moving average, so more potential downside in the NASDAQ and the Qs. Again, we have been holding a short position on the NASDAQ via SQQQ, and similarly we'll continue to hold that until it reverses, and we'll take our profits and go from there. If we look at the Dow just very briefly, we were waiting and watching for a potential new all-time high on the Dow to go short on the Dow. That just didn't happen. So you'll see we were watching SDOW, which is the short on the Dow. You're going to see we're going to remove that from the watch list for this week because I don't see it hitting a new all-time high anytime soon. And we don't have any position on the Dow right now. On the Russell, if we quickly look at the Russell, we'll see it bounced off its upper trend line and is in the downward turn. Again, we don't have any kind of position on the Russell right now. And if we quickly look at the VIX, which is at VX and FinViz, we'll see the increase in volatility towards this week. And again, we're going to talk about how we can use SVXY, and you'll see we're going to add SVXY to our watch list for this week. We can use that to short the VIX, short volatility on a pop, profit from these spikes in volatility, and then turn around and play it back up using UVXY. So we've talked about this strategy before. We'll talk about it a little bit further and how you can profit from these increases in volatility due to the September effect. Okay, now I'm in the Markets tab of the Webull browser application, and again, as always, you can find our affiliate link for Webull to get 2 or more free stocks in the description box below. Again, there's the Markets tab in the browser version of Webull. I just wanted to briefly look at some of the top gainers, etc. For Friday, and also to talk about a potential strategy that you may want to pursue to profit during this September effect during this month. So if I look at the top gainers after hours just briefly to see if there's any kind of strong trend going into Monday, I don't see a strong trend. We see some biotech, some techs, etc. But the strategy I really wanted to talk about is if I look at the top gainers for the day, even though all of the markets, all of the indices were down on Friday, if we look at the top gainers from Friday, we can still see that there are some stocks that made really significant gains. TTOO I saw at 4 a.m. pre-market was really running. It made a 20% gain for the day. Then we have IFCE, which I know a lot of the other day traders, etc., were watching and chasing, and it was up 60% for the day. We could see something similar if I just quickly hop over to the FinBiz homepage and we look at the top gainers. We can see the same essential list, Affirm, which reported good earnings, and it popped. So we can see, even though the markets were down, September's predicted to be down, there are still individual stocks for which you have the potential to make a significant profit this month. So how do we use that strategy for our benefit? Well, if you are a day trader or a breakout trader or a momentum trader, in a second, well, here in this screen, in the market screen, you can easily screen for, okay, what's moving for the day, what's going up, and if you want to pursue that momentum and trade along with that momentum trend, and that's a successful strategy for you, you can make good money doing that. You could also click on the top gainers for the last 5 minutes, so you can see, okay, what's moving right now. And again, if you want to jump on that bandwagon and try to ride that momentum trend up, again, you need to be good at momentum trading, breakout trading, day trading. If you do not know that strategy works for you, then I would not recommend that you pursue that strategy right now, because again, September is going to be a volatile month, and it may not be the best time to test out whether that strategy is going to work for you. If you don't know what the best strategy or what type of trader you are, we are currently working on a video, should come out soon, that will help you figure out what types of trades are right for you, what type of trader are you currently, and hopefully find the best fit for you. So again, my point here is there are still opportunities to make significant profit in September, even though the markets are down. You just have to find the stocks that are popping, what's moving, and play the momentum for those that are moving. Another way to profit and take advantage of what is going up during September is to look at the best performing industries. So at the bottom of that markets tab, we can see for the day, for Friday, a top performing industry was uranium. Uranium has been running the past several days. Y'all heard us last week, we made a good profit on DNN. It then popped up even further. So anybody still in DNN made more money. Great. Take your profits if it hits a resistance and turns down. But we see all the uranium names were running on momentum on Friday. So again, if you're a momentum trader and you see this sector start to move, and you know some of the names that maybe haven't popped yet, you can jump on that trend and make a nice profit. We see these guys were all up 10%, so you could have made a 10% profit on Friday by jumping on some of these uranium trades. So watch the movement in these best performing industries, and if somebody shifts to a positive position, you can jump on that trend for the day, make a nice profit. Again, it's going to be volatile, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend holding them for a long time. Once that momentum shifts and drops off, you might want to take your profit. So I hope that helps, and we will continue with our game plan. Another way to quickly and easily find stocks that are moving right now is to use the screener functionality in Webull. And you'll see I'm looking at my hottest screener here. You'll also see how I use this in the pre-market at 4 a.m. You'll see a reference to our video in the description box um, showing you my routine. I get up at 4 a.m. and what I'm looking at using this screener for pre-market. Now, because it's after hours, it's showing after hours, not pre-market or regular, but the functionality is all the same. During the market day, well, during pre-market, this says pre-market hours, after hours says after hours, and showing you the percent change. And then during the day, it just has the regular change. So you can quickly and easily just click on the column header and sort by descending gainers. So here we're seeing at the top who's moving the fastest, who's the hottest right now in after hours. We see UAVS, which is a drone play, and it happened to be moving after hours. And this is dynamic, so what I typically watch for is what's moving up this list. And that's somebody that's popping right now. Similarly, you can flip it, and if you're looking for something that's coming down, so we can see, oh look, after hours TNN started coming down. So if I was looking for a buying opportunity on something, I might be looking for something that was coming down to a support level that I know of that I can scoop something up for a good price because it's coming down. So again, it's really quick and easy to resort this. You can refresh it, but it is dynamic and it will show you who's moving right now. And again, if you want to play a momentum or a day trade or that kind of trade, this is a great way to find out who's moving. You can jump on it, take advantage of that immediate movement. So I hope that helps as well. Now I wanted to talk about the concept of beta. I don't know how many of you are familiar with what beta means or how you can use it to profit in a down market or again in an up market. But in this particular case, I want to show you how this strategy can be used to profit in a down market like one that's suffering from the September effect. This is an article in Investopedia, and I'll put a link to this article in the description box below that defines and explains what beta is, how it works, how it's calculated, etc. But the point I wanted to make here is to talk about a negative beta value. And you can see in this article it defines a negative beta value, meaning that a stock is inversely correlated to the market benchmark. What that means is when a market is going down, these stocks tend to go up, and vice versa. When the market is going up, these stocks tend to go down. They also point out that certain things have a tendency to have a negative beta. Obviously, inverse ETFs are an inverse to the market or whatever, so they're going to have a negative beta. But they also point out gold miners tend to have a negative beta. So something to remember if you're preparing for a down market, maybe gold miners is another area that you want to go long to hedge insurance or profit from a down market. Now, how do we find stocks that have a negative beta? Well, a quick and easy way is to use FinViz's stock screener. So if we go to FinViz and we click on the screener tab, quickest way I find is to click the All tab so I can see all the various criteria I can select and filter for, and there we see beta. So now I want to sort for a beta under 0. So that's going to be negative, right? So now here's a complete list of all the different stocks that have a negative beta. And I can sort these if I want by industry, if I want to focus on particular industries. So maybe I want things that have a negative beta and they're in aerospace because I know aerospace happens to be a trending stock, or I want apparel, etc. And you can see there's a number of pages. You can add additional filters to filter, okay, I want a positive price to earnings ratio, or I want a price within a certain range. So again, I just wanted to really quickly talk about beta, how you can use a negative beta to either hedge your portfolio or even profit in a down market. And you can pick those stocks for sectors that have current trending themes, are cheap or relatively cheap, stable, etc. So again, the negative beta, there are stocks out there that have a tendency to go up even though the market is going down. So look at the stocks you might be interested in that have a negative beta, and maybe that's something you want to go long in September due to the September effect. I hope that helps.
Okay, now let's make the modifications to our watch list for this coming week. Again, this is for the week of September 13th through the 17th. And as we mentioned earlier, we're going to remove SDOW, which is the short on the Dow, from our watch list, as we don't really expect it to hit an all-time high again in the near future. You will see I'm in the online version of Webull again, and I have the stocks tab selected, and I have my watch list selected. I have multiple watch lists. I just select my weekly watch list, which I've already made the modifications to that we'll talk about. But you'll see one of the ones we're adding is Budweiser. This is Anheuser-Busch AB InBev. And we can see it's been trailing down. We've got a price target. It hasn't really reached our price target, which is about 57.13. We really want to see it reach a stable bottom and then round and turn up. Bud does pay a small dividend, and it does have a nice swing up. We've made money on Bud in the past, so we're looking to potentially get in. Now if it breaks down and continues down, then we'll let it go. But I believe it's under some pressure from the Sam Adams. Their seltzer water drinks did not do as well as they expected, and I think that's pulling a number of the beverage stocks down. So we see this as a nice opportunity in Bud. We're going to put it on the watch list and see what happens. The next one I really want to talk about is FNGD, which is the short on the FANG index. It's a leveraged ETF similar to some of the others. You can see it's the micro sectors FANG leveraged short. And hopefully you're aware of the news that came out, the court ruling on the Epic versus Apple lawsuit, where the judge ordered Apple to allow apps in their app store to have another means of payment rather than paying the 30% to Apple to process payments through their app store. And if we take a quick look at Apple, got it pulled up, we can see it made a major dump on Friday based on that news. It's a big hit on Apple. Also, if we look at Google, who also has an app store, we'll see similarly it had a not as severe but a pretty significant downturn as well. Well, both of those are major contributors to what they call the FANG index, and therefore, and I'll show you the holdings for this FNGD in just a second. And I'll put a link to this website that shows the holdings for the FNGD. You can see it's the minus 3x leveraged inverse ETF on the FANG index. And the top two holdings, or some of the top holdings, are Alphabet, which is Google, and Apple. We can also see it's got a number of Chinese tech stocks in its top holdings, and they're under pressure from the Chinese government regulations. So we're adding FNGD to our watch list. We're looking for, you can see it already started to make a little bit of a run up. I'd like to get a little bit of a dip, but then it's got some nice upside potential. So I think there's a good opportunity. I think Apple and Google are going to drag the FANG index down. Chinese stocks are going to drag the FANG index down. And I think this is a nice opportunity for a profit at this time based on that news. So there's an example of where the news is triggering an opportunity to go long and make a profit. We talked about scalping the VIX, and we talked about using the SVXY to short the VIX when it reaches a peak. So we're looking for the VIX to peak, and then we will use SVXY to short the VIX, come back down, and then we'll use UVXY when the VIX bottoms, and then play the VIX long again to a top. Important point I wanted to make here is with these guys, this is a pretty low risk move because the VIX always reverts to the mean. So if it goes to 20 peaks and we short at 20, yeah, the VIX could go to 40, but it's not going to stay there. It's going to come back down eventually to 20, then down around 16 eventually, which is fine. We can hold on to it and let it come back down where it's profitable and we'll make money. Don't use margin on these types of trades, because if that were to happen and you were using margin, you could get margin called. If you took a short on it on the VIX using SVXY at 20 and it went to 40, you might get margin called and taken out, and you would lose a lot of money doing that. Again, that's why I would not recommend that on either SVXY or UVXY, because again, with UVXY, the VIX could drop precipitously. You'd get margin called and taken out, and you'd lose money because it could go down to 10 theoretically. It's not probable, but again, I'd recommend don't use margin when using those leveraged ETFs on the VIX. The last one currently on our watch list for this week is we're going to leave TMV, which is the long on the yields of the Treasury, 20-year Treasury. I'm going to leave that on the watch list. It's kind of in the middle. Treasuries have been volatile, don't know which direction it's going to go. But with the oscillations and when's the Fed going to taper, etc., if we get an opportunity, we'd like it down in the 54 or 25 area. If it happens to come down there, we'll go long TMV. So we'll leave it on the watch list for now. Please keep an eye on the comments to this game plan. If things change and we add or remove anything to the watch list, we'll let you know in the comments to this video. And lastly, I just wanted to show you a nice feature in Webull. Again, this is the Webull online version, and there's an affiliate link to Webull. You can get 2 free stocks in the description box below. But if you click on the watch list tabs, we've always looked at the list view of the watch list, which is this view. So we've shown you how to create a watch list using this tab before, and we looked at the list view. A nice other feature when you're actually watching stocks during the day while the market's open is there's a grid view. So you can see 4 of the stocks that are currently on your watch list. You can use your indicators and all that, and you can watch 4 different stocks on your watch list all on the same screen, which I find very helpful. And then if you have multiple pages, you can go to the next page. I've only got 5 right now, so I'm only getting 1 on the second page. But again, I think that's a great way to be able to watch multiple stocks on your watch list all at the same time. If they hit one of your price targets, you can take action right there. So I hope that helps. Lastly, I wanted to briefly talk about some other strategies for how you can profit from the September effect. One of the main things is, keep some cash. As you take profits on pops into strength, keep some cash, which is keep your dry powder ready, so that when things come down, hopefully, we talked about last week, keep your shopping list of stocks you always wanted to buy when they become cheap for a good buy. For example, if you always wanted to buy Apple or Google and hold it long for a long time, uh, in the near term, maybe your opportunity on a bottom to get Apple or Google. So if you've got dry powder, you've got your shopping list, you're ready to buy those things when they become cheap. Also, sharpen your saw when things are volatile or you don't have any trades at the time. Learn how to trade better, improve your trading, evaluate your past trades. Again, if it's slow in the summer or it's just too volatile for your style of trading, spend the time to sharpen your saw. And perhaps this is a good time to test or paper trade to see if other types of trading are for you. As I mentioned, if you currently are not a day trader, a breakout trader, a momentum trader, maybe this is a good time to test that out via paper trading where you're not at high risk. So we hope this all helps. Please let us know in the comments if you find these game plans helpful, what we can do to improve, any ideas you have for how to profit from the September effect, ideas for this week's game plan or super game or future game plans. Again, we hope that this is beneficial. We hope you'll smash the like button, give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber to our BeachBum trading community, and click the bell icon so you're notified of this video and all of our other videos as they come out. Thank you for watching this to the end. We wish you good luck and have a great trading week. Bye. We hope that you like our weekly game plan for the trading week for this week. Thank you for watching the video to the end. If you found this helpful, we hope that you will choose to subscribe to our BeachBum Trading YouTube channel, and please click the bell icon below to automatically be notified whenever we publish a new video. Please also share this with your fellow traders and friends via the share button included below. And let us know if you found our weekly game plans helpful in the comments included below. And let us know how we can improve. What would you like to see more, less of, etc. Thank you again for watching. Good luck and have a great trading week. Bye.